Welcome back to Sacred Success Salon, where we are speaking with expert guests about how to lead and thrive right now as an awakened leader on purpose. I am your host, Anna Kowalska, and today I am delighted and excited and joyful, all of that, for our amazing guest. Welcome, Joyce van der Lally.
Oh, I'm so happy that you invited me for this, Anna. I cannot wait to start and share, talk with
Yeah,
you a little bit.
I
Yeah, and
know.
share with everybody else that is here. Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we're going to have a great conversation. Let me just say a few words about Joyce so you guys know who she is. And you can find a full bio all the way below the video. Joyce van der Lally is an artist, empowerment guide, and a dream creator for multi-passionate change makers and magical misfits. She helps creative change makers make their soul self sing and achieve more of their dreams and desires. Oh, so good. So right before we click the record button, I told you, Joyce, like you're the representative of the creative. And creativity has been a big topic in the salon in the past because I believe that creatives really are the ones that we all are creative, and some of us are really here to bring in that creativity forward because we are creating a new earth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree totally,
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. Yes. Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
to tap into those creative aspects of ourselves and then use that, right? Use that to bring in the energy into the world. It's just, to me, it's the most one of the most important things we are up to. So let's talk about creativity. Like what is that even?
So creativity for me is an expression of your inner powers, your wisdom, maybe even the things that you don't know that you have inside. Through creativity, those things can come out.
Mhm.
And so oftentimes when you allow yourself to express yourself creatively,
Mhm.
you can find answers to your own questions, so it's like almost like a two-way dialogue that you can
Mhm.
have. You can, a lot of people walk around with questions for themselves, like, what am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose?
Yeah.
What is the reason for me? How do I do this? How can I be of best service? How can I
Mhm.
be, all those questions, those inner questions that you don't often speak out loud,
Yeah.
but that's that inner dialogue that goes on. So when you flow your creativity outwards, like when you allow that to come outward, and it doesn't have to be painting, it can be writing, it can be music, it can be dance, movement, everything. You can, and then there's the point where you need to listen and see. So it really goes on all the levels of your senses.
Mhm.
You can find and hear and read answers to your own questions. So you will find a lot more clarity. And then because you find the clarity, you can become more confident. And with more confidence, you can be more courageous and you can move forward. You can change your trajectory in life
Mhm.
with more confidence, with more courage, and with more excitement. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So
It's the way you explain creativity, it makes it accessible. 'Cause my experience of a lot of people is that they, especially the people that come to me, as soon as I tell them creative expression, right? And in the line of work, I actually use hand analysis, and the hand tells you like
yeah,
this is part of your expression. And I tell them about creativity, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not creative," right? Like,
yeah,
no, that's not me. The way you just explained
exactly.
creativity makes it accessible. Yeah, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What
Yeah,
was your?
yeah. People throw up a block
Yeah.
immediately. It's usually because at some point when they were younger, they were told that they weren't so great at it. That well, or it wasn't important. I think most of the generation up until now are struggling with this. That at
Mm.
some point in their life, creativity was explained as being a sort of a frill. It's not a serious thing. It's not the thing that you want to make your career out of. For instance, nobody's ever going to make good money being a creative, being an artist in any direction, in any whatever area you choose to be an artist
Mhm.
in. So it's always been seen as a bit of a frivolous thing on the side. So so that is also why so many people put it last, or it's not important enough. And only when they realize that it actually connects us to our soul self, you know, it's a door, it's a doorway, it's a portal to our soul self, to understanding our true core self, our spirit. Yeah.
Can you keep talking about that? There was something delicious that I feel it when you talk about it that way. There was something really magical to it.
So I see these things as doors and portals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are taught to live, or I mean, up until this generation, I think the generations up until the ones that are now adults and in professions working. So I think the kids that are now at school, they are sort of on the changeover, and they are learning that there's more to life, that there's more in creativity. But so talking about those that are in our atmosphere, in our orbit, you know, most of us have been taught that, you know, as a kid, you're creative. Oh, yeah, you draw. There are no restrictions. Like any child, give them something and they start to draw, they start to create, and they love it, and everything that they do is good. You know, they're excited about it, and it's appreciated. And then at some point, it is seen as not so important.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's focus on the things that will give you the really good job and all that. And then the door closes. So there's a separation happening. There's a separation between what the brain is doing and what our heart and our soul self is. You know, our true core self sort of gets dimmed and eventually can completely stop shining at all. You know, it's like if you have a candle and you put a glass over the top, it will sort of start to stop. And then eventually it just poof, it's gone. And so a lot of the times then you will meet somebody that actually the flame has gone out. The flame has gone out. But the funny thing is that door is still there. So you can revive. So if you open the portal, if you're willing to go on that adventure, because it is an adventure, you know, if you're willing to open the door, and if you can grab enough confidence and courage together to go on this secret path, you know, then you will find that there are sacred things there. So your personal sacred things. There are secrets there, you know, there's wisdom, there's power, and it doesn't take much, but if you only need to be open and allow that to happen, it will start to grow and build and unfurl. It's, you know, it's like here in New Zealand, you've got these fern trees. We've got beautiful fern trees. And I don't know if you've ever seen a fern tip. It's like really rolled tightly. And then as it opens, it just unfurls. And it doesn't just roll open that first, but then also the little side leaves, they also unfurl. And it's amazing. It's amazing. So if you need to have a visual of how that emotion can look like, you know, or feel like, find you know how they have these slow motion things of plants that open up?
Yes.
Yeah. Look at that, and then just try to imagine that is your soul self opening up and unfurling and exposing itself freely to the sun, the rays of the sun to shine on it, the fresh air to breeze through, you know, it's all that. It's sensual in a way. And that can help you feel excited about it, you know. It can also help you want to take the next portal, jump through the next portal, because there's always a next one. There's always a next level to it, you know. As you grow, it's infinite. Creativity is infinite. You cannot use it up. The more you do it, the more you receive, the more you get. Yeah.
This is so great because I think with creativity, so we're going to use creativity, it works for everything. And there is this idea, I know when when I first started to learn that I can write, that I can paint, there was this there was this feeling inside of me that like I have this idea and I have this vision. What if, what if this is the only one I'll ever have, right? Or I'll use up all my creativity for this one thing, right? I don't
Yeah.
know where it comes from. Clearly, it's lack mentality, right? But I had this idea that, oh, for example, social media posts. This will be relatable to a lot of our audience. Social media posts. I have this really great idea. I'm gonna hold it for a special day, and that's when I'm gonna make the post. Or that's
Yeah.
when I'm gonna make the live, the Facebook live, or right. Like
Yeah.
this is the one. I'm gonna hold it tight, and then on
Yeah.
a special day I'll release it, right?
Yeah. 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 And then,
Yeah.
and then what happens?
Right. And then what happens, right? What happens is if you hold it, it's you're not gonna get you're not getting anything back. You're not getting anything else. You just sit. This is the one only one you hold. Now I know through experience that the more I engage with something, the more it keeps coming through.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It is it because as you say, this is interesting because you said, you know, you have this great idea or this great post that you want to post, and you're holding on to it for the best day for it. You know, you're holding on, holding on. It's like, oh, I've got this beautiful china and I'm only using it for when these kind of guests arrive. And then what happens? Like I experienced a whole set of earthquakes, right? I
Yeah.
had a set of china like that. I had plates. I love these plates, but I would not get them out for our day-to-day dinners and all
Yeah.
that. I would
Mhm.
only get them out when we had a dinner party.
Mhm.
And then, so how often did I use them? I don't know, not much. And then the earthquakes happened and I had 3 plates left. And,
Ah,
you know, it's like, come on, just use the good things. Just
yeah,
use the things, wear
yeah,
the things that you love.
yeah,
Use the good things that you have.
yeah.
Use your creativity, because that's the other thing. I know that there are a lot of people, because this is also something, right? There are vibrations going on
Mhm.
in the atmosphere, in the
Mhm.
universe. There are vibrational things. And you will see that there are trends, you know? So you might have this beautiful post, but that vibration is in the energy. So there are others that have also picked up on that energy. So here you are holding on to your beautiful idea for the best day ever. And then you see somebody else post a very similar thing. And you think like, oh, no, I cannot post this
Right,
anymore. Or
right.
no, I cannot use this anymore. Or now I
Mhm.
cannot paint this anymore. Or now I cannot write this anymore because
Mhm.
this other person has done it. And then the whole comparison,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
that all starts
yes.
happening. And then your idea, you have never used it. Now, so I have an abundance of ideas always. Too many for my lifetime to create.
Mhm.
And so initially I had that feeling, right? Ooh, all these beautiful ideas. I keep them in a book. I keep them in notes. I keep them in my head, you know, and it just builds because every morning I wake up, I get more ideas. I get more inspiration. I get more, it's like overwhelming, right?
Mhm.
And because of that, I cannot create everything that comes into my mind,
Mhm.
but I have learned to accept and understand that I receive the ideas, not all for me to complete.
Yeah,
Not all the dreams that I receive are mine to bring into the world. So I can share them.
yeah.
And sharing creativity, there's nothing wrong with it. But like the same, when I went to my very first fashion and art academy, one of my designs was stolen by a fellow student, or stolen, you know.
Right.
She was a very quick sketcher and I was slower. And the idea was that we were drawing things and then you would pick from your different sketches, you would pick the one that you wanted to create
Mhm.
and have it signed off by the teacher. And
Mhm.
so I am slowly sketching away. And this one girl comes around because she said, oh yeah, I just don't have any inspiration. And she was just walking around the class.
Mhm.
And then after, I don't know, I didn't pay attention. When I was done with my thing, I chose the one that I wanted to make. I went to the teacher and I said, I would like to do that one. And she said, no, sorry, Joyce, I can't sign that off for you. And I said, why not? She said, I just did for Christine. And I said, mm-hmm. And she was a very accomplished, very quick sketcher.
Yeah.
So what she had done was just go around the class and pick ideas from others and sketched it real quick and had her signed off. And I felt very, very sad. It was my first project. And she looked at me and she said, and then I said, but that's my design. And she said, I know. Welcome to the real world.
Wow.
She said, yeah. She said, welcome to the real world. She said, Joyce, one thing, pick your second choice. She said, where your ideas come from, there will always be more. So just pick your second one. And so that's another thing. Just use what you have.
There are so many great, what a powerful teacher. What an amazing teacher to tell you, yeah, welcome to the real world, right? What a gift. Yeah. And then use your second one. Wow. That was really, thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah. But that just also shows you when you have a good idea, don't overcomplicate, don't overthink, don't start to go like, oh, but maybe I can do a better one. Maybe just use it. Just use it. You know? And if you have set up, because also I have a colleague who was very precious about her ideas, and she couldn't bring herself to sharing it online because she was always afraid that people might steal her ideas or steal her thing, because in certain areas she was a slower, she was slower at putting it out there, and so she never put it out there just because of that. So it's a fear. There's a fear, and a comparison and a look. It's all that combined. So with creativity, just trust your flow and enjoy. It's all about enjoying the ride, enjoying the journey. So just do that, and there's so many people that write, so many people that make songs, so many people that paint, so many people that sing, but there's always place for somebody else, because the Beatles didn't say like, oh, let's not make music because the Rolling Stones are making music,
right?
You can find examples everywhere, really.
So good. Let's talk about the Multipassionates.
Like me. What about Multipassionates?
I know. Let's open up that can of worm. So what I find a lot is that we have Multipassionate. I am one of them too. Like, I'm like, what is this one thing that I'm supposed to put my energy into? Because there are so many things that I love and I'm passionate about, right?
Yeah.
And I finally found a way to start weaving everything together into, and I continue to expand that. Yet it came in, I mean, it was through an exploration, it was through experimenting. First of all, where does this whole idea of Multipassionate come from? Why was it so, and there was time when it wasn't okay to be multipassionate, right? Like, it was actually looked down upon.
Yeah. So Leonardo da Vinci is one.
Sure.
Yes, so Multipassionate, a lot of people call us scatterbrained. Or fragmented. The idea behind it is that it is better to focus on one thing than on many things. Now, you can be multi-passionate and still focus. Of course, it is like multitasking. Multitasking is a thing. Like, actually, there is no multitasking, because I can draw with two hands at the same time. And I think there are people that are really practiced well, that they can actually do two different things.
Wow.
But yeah, so the idea is that if you divide your attention, that you cannot get to the same result at the same time frame. And that is true. I mean, if you do one thing, then you can focus on one thing and you can put all your energy and all your time into that one thing. And if you have to go from A to B, the time that it takes you will be shorter, will be less. But multi-passionate people, they like to have inspiration around them, I cannot look at my behind me. I cannot be a minimalist. It doesn't, if I sit in a room where there is hardly anything there, how can I create? How can I create if I cannot have all my stuff there? I get inspired by seeing things. If I'm creating something that has to do with love, then I like to see things that have love hearts and red and roses and things that for me feel like love. I sort of built a stage around my work table so that I get into the mood of what I am creating. You put the music on that fits, I like to work in layers like that as well. Sometimes I start creating visually and suddenly I feel like this song or this music needs to be playing at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hear a song or a piece of music that really inspires me to start creating something, and I think that multi-passionates are tuned in to more layers of the senses. So that is the thing. So it has to do with senses. And yeah, so we have senses. We can see,
yeah,
we can hear, we can feel, we can smell, we can touch. People will smell something and immediately they have these memories coming back. It's like that. It's like also opening doors between. And so if you can open that up, you can become multi-layered, multi-passionate easily. The challenge is if you are in business or if you are doing a project, that you actually will finish the thing that you're working on. And that takes focus and that takes the boring sides of what really usually doesn't light us up. It's like all the organization and all the strategies and all the in business. Like, I'm a creative entrepreneur. I know I run my own business. You have to have strategies or schedules or calendars or things like that. Otherwise nothing, nothing happens. But there is a play. You can play with that, right? You can play between the things that need to happen and the things that can be free. So instead of having everything so rigidly planned out, all scheduled, like in an office might look like, you can make it creative so that it feels freer, that it feels more like you. And that is the really the thing that you need to find your own magic. I love how you said you're weaving it together, because I'm always talking about weave your magic carpet. You want to go from here to there, but your magic carpet will look different than mine. Because the threads that I use for my magic carpet will be different than the threads that you're using for yours. So if we weave our own magic carpet, it's like the experiences that you've had, the things that you've learned, the things that you dream of, the things that you're, the deepest wishes that you have, your superpowers, all those things together, you weave that together, that's going to be your magic carpet. Then you set a goal, and then your dream, your goal, you throw out your anchor and you go like, okay, first I'm going to go there. That other idea can still be with you, but first you go there. First you go there. And then from there you can do the other dream. So you're not, because that was the whole thing, like, oh, but I want to do everything. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. How can I? And then you overwhelm yourself with all that, But if you can just say like, okay, first I'm going to do this. And because it makes you feel good when you finish something, right?
Yes.
And then I can do the other thing. You don't have to throw that idea away, but you can keep it for a little bit later, And so there, it's really playing with your mind and your feelings and your senses and how you can enjoy the ride, the journey, the best way possible.
You just shared a few things that are, as we keep, I know, like, I'm looking at the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, has it really been almost 30 minutes? You just gave me at least access to looking at things a little differently. First of all, multi-passionate is about engaging different senses. which to me, up until this moment, this is so great. Up until this moment, being multi-passionate meant it's outside of me, meaning I'm passionate about many different things, which is still true. What it just gave me access to is, wow, multi-passionate is just engaging different senses. That gave me permission to say, even if I focus on one project, right, to completion, because I do absolutely believe, just like you said, we must complete what we start. I believe spirit loves our completion, and we are meant to complete things. There's so much, and it feels good too, which builds our confidence. And I can engage different senses, then all different parts of me come together in this one project, and I don't have to now feel like I'm leaving parts of me behind. That just really gave me something there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because actually everything starts within.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. The beginning, if you're looking to begin anything, it starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you many things. You can tell somebody many things. You can recommend advice, you know, but in the end, the person that wants to walk towards their dream,
Yeah.
gets their plan out, reach their goal, achieve their goal.
Yeah.
They all, it begins with that person.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if I set a goal, I cannot say, hey, you can do it for me. No. It always is you. You need to make those steps. You need to begin. So the beginning is always with yourself, and you can find that always within. So your soul, if you think your soul self is that little spark, that little ember that always burns or glows, you know. So if you cannot feel or find that, then do some inner work. Begin with some inner work. Begin giving yourself time. Slow down, and allow yourself to connect with that, and then flow with it. Just flow. So yeah, I mean, I think that if you concentrate, if you focus, you can feel the energy from Mother Earth come through you. You know, from Mother Earth, the universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it. If you focus really well on your inner amber and then just pull, then you can start feeling all these tingling sensations. And it's like, yeah, you feel that energy, you can pull it up. And then, you know, I always say, like, it's this area here, your gut area. You know, your womb area. That's really where it all comes together. And then you can just open up and create. Yeah. So it is an inner game. It is also, there is mindset involved, but it's not like we're separate. It's not like the mind and the feeling is separate. Again, these senses, if you open up that they can connect and talk to each other, then you can become a more whole person. Yeah.
So beautiful, Joyce. Oh my gosh, I love where
that's how I experience it anyway.
Yeah, I love where you took us, and I love your explanations that just gave me access to look at things differently. From creativity to multi-passionate, you gave me access to look at things differently. So I really, really appreciate you being in a salon and sharing that. I know you have a free gift for our audience. Could you tell us what it is?
It's called Creativity Works.
Yay!
So you just do you have a link button?
Yeah, there's going to be a button below. Yeah.
So if you click on that, then you put your details in, and it starts with a free download where I go through things in steps. You know, everything, all my work is always layered, whether I'm creating something visually myself, or you know, I'm a mixed media, multi-passionate artist, mostly visual, but I like to include poetry and music and guided journeys like that, you know. So I like to pull it all together. For me, I think it is, if you can find ways that your creative expression can be like a container, that you can create little containers with a lot of meaning. With, you know, they can be sacred containers with memories. They can be sacred, you know, like really beautiful things that could be for your own affirmations. And you know, there's power in that. And then you can yourself be as light as possible. So imagine yourself walking around with a backpack, if you can create containers for those kind of thoughts and processes and ideas and all that, then your backpack is light, so you can always walk light. Yeah.
So amazing. So you guys won't watch these interviews in the same order, but just an hour ago I had a conversation with another guest expert, and she literally referenced the backpack. Not too many, I mean, I know it's something we use in our conversations, and I just love the synchronicity of conversations, how they are layered. It's so amazing. Thank you, Joyce, for being in the salon.
You're welcome.
So great. You guys make sure you click the golden button below the video, claim the gift, let yourself experience Creativity Works, because it is really important, which is why I wanted to have Joyce in the salon. So I do have a parting question for you, Joyce.
Yes.
What is the vision, your vision for the world that we are creating?
My vision for the world. I always want, it's kind of sounds, you know, a bit stale maybe, but you know, or corny, like I want peace on earth. I want everybody to be able to live a free life, you know, free, so that there needs to be more love for everybody. There needs to be more understanding. I think if people can be curious to learn from each other. I love traveling. I've traveled a lot, of course, not the last couple of years, but you know, I think if we can keep our curiosity up, so that we are curious to learn from each other, to go on adventures together. I think that, you know, because there needs to be freedom and more love, more angels, more, I want a lighter world. I want a lighter world where there is more understanding for each other, or tolerance, you know, acceptance.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you for that vision. It's just delightful. So great to have you, Joyce. Thank you one more time for being in the salon. So amazing. You guys make sure you claim the gift. Creativity Works. Get into Joyce's world. Have your amazing experience with her creativity and all the layers that she brings into her work. And we'll see you in the next conversation. Bye for now.
Thank you.